Hello everyone, I am Sarah Johnson, 35 years old from Austin, Texas. Today I want to share a special story, a spiritual experience that completely changed my outlook on life. An experience that I cannot explain rationally, but I know for sure that it truly happened. This experience helped me realize the invisible power of prayer and spiritual connection, as well as the relationship between the material and spiritual life. Before we begin, I would like to know where you are from. Even though we may be far apart geographically, I feel that we can still connect through this story. Please leave a comment below to share your thoughts on my story. I look forward to hearing your opinions. My story begins on an autumn day in 2023. At that time, I was going through a difficult period in my life. Work, family, and personal relationships were all facing significant challenges. I felt exhausted and lost, not knowing what to do to overcome everything. In the meantime, I felt a strong urge in my heart, a powerful feeling that compelled me to participate in an extended prayer session. This was not an easy decision, but I felt as if I had no other choice but to follow that urging. Although I am not someone who regularly participates in religious activities, at that moment, I sensed that this could be an opportunity for me to find inner peace. So I decided to attend a 40-hour prayer session at the local church. Even though many people thought this was a puzzling decision, I remained determined and mentally prepared to endure those long hours of prayer. On October 18, 2023, I began participating in an extended prayer session. Everything started very gently as I sat down in the quiet space of St. Patrick's Church, a historic church located in the heart of Austin. The atmosphere in the church was truly special. Every wall, every detail in this space conveyed a sense of the sacred and peace. However, even though I was sitting in that tranquil environment, my mind couldn't stop dwelling on my personal life and unresolved anxieties. After a few hours of prayer, I began to feel my body growing weary. But what surprised me was that my spirit felt lighter than ever. It was an indescribable feeling, as if I were doing something right, even though I didn't fully understand its significance. The prayers gradually became a part of me, and I sensed a connection between myself and some invisible world. However, at 3 a.m., when I started to feel exhausted and was nearly unable to continue, something strange happened. When I closed my eyes, I felt as if I was separating from my body, as if being lifted off the ground. Everything around me suddenly became hazy, and I couldn't distinguish between the physical space and the spiritual world. At that moment, I heard a voice echoing in my mind, a warm and loving voice. My daughter. I was startled, a wave of confusion overwhelming me. The voice continued. I have brought you here to show you the things your eyes have not seen and your ears have not heard. The voice gradually guided me into a wondrous space, a space I couldn't put into words. In front of me was a powerful stream of light, shining brightly in every ray, seemingly enveloping the entire space. I couldn't see the face of God, but I felt an unconditional love, an absolute peace. After a period of time, I realized that I was standing on a road of light. That feeling is hard to describe. I did not feel tired, I did not feel anxious, only an absolute serenity. I began to walk on that road, and each step I took brought me closer to a deeper understanding of myself and the world around me. The voice from earlier was still echoing, but now I could understand every word that he spoke to me. You are not just an anonymous individual, the voice continued. You are a part of a larger world, a part of an incredibly vast plan that I have created. And in your life, prayer and humility will always guide you to me, helping you realize the true strength within yourself. I did not fully understand everything he said at that moment, but I felt a powerful transformation within my heart. I began to have a clearer awareness of my life and the challenges I was facing. It seemed that I had found my purpose in life, not in material achievements, but in spiritual connection, understanding myself, and what I could do for this world. God said to me, when you pray and fast in humility, you will create a straight path from your heart to my heart. This is not just a prayer, but an extremely powerful spiritual battle. Although my spiritual experience during the first prayer made me feel relieved and full of hope, I quickly realized that the road ahead was not always smooth. In the following days, I couldn't stop thinking about what I had gone through. Every time I tried to sit down to pray, my mind would whirl with a million negative thoughts. I couldn't escape the feeling of anxiety and fear, as if some darkness was shadowing me. One evening when I was praying alone at the church, an unexpected presence appeared before me. I couldn't clearly see its shape, but the feeling I had was one of darkness and coldness. At first, I thought I was overly tired in imagining it, but as soon as I closed my eyes and focused on my breathing, I heard a cold voice resonating from the darkness. "Do you think you can avoid me?" The voice was full of challenge, as if testing my patience. I startled, not knowing what to do. I tried to regain my calm, but fear began to creep into my mind. A question echoed in my head. If this is a part of the challenge I must face, what will I do to overcome it? I am your fear, I am your doubt. I will not leave you until you confront me. The voice rang out again, this time stronger and more threatening. I couldn't avoid this confrontation, and I understood that I had to find a way to overcome the fear and doubt I was feeling. At that moment, I remembered the teachings of the elder in the church, that the greatest strength comes from humility and faith in God. I began to pray louder, and in a moment, a wave of dim light enveloped me. The voice in the darkness gradually faded away and disappeared, making way for an extraordinary peace. The next day, I woke up with a different feeling. Although my body still felt tired after hours of praying, my mind was much clearer. The feeling of darkness in my heart seemed to have vanished, leaving a vast space for the light. Even though I couldn't explain clearly what had happened, I sensed a change in the way I perceived myself. A week after that strange prayer session, I received an unexpected call from my family. My mother, a person I had always respected, informed me that my grandfather, whom I cherished very much, was in critical condition at the hospital. He had suffered a severe stroke, and the doctors said he could only live a few more days. Although I was very sad, I felt a strange peace in my heart, a strong belief that he would not leave without being prepared. I decided to return to my hometown to visit him. Before leaving, I went to the church again, stood before the altar, and prayed once more. "Lord, I dedicate my grandfather into your hands. Please grant him peace and give me the strength to overcome this pain." When I arrived at the hospital, my grandfather was lying quietly in his hospital bed. Suddenly, he opened his eyes and looked at me with a gentle smile, even though his health was very weak. He spoke, and I felt an extraordinary sense of peace. "Sarah, you can find peace in every situation. You can overcome any challenge. You are on the right path, and I will always be by your side." I held his hand, and in that moment, I understood that my grandfather had found peace throughout his life, and now I too must continue that path. We sat together for a long time. I prayed for him and for the family, and then a miracle happened. My grandfather passed away peacefully, with a smile on his lips, leaving in my heart a sense of the invisible connection between man and God. Returning to Austin, Texas, I continued my spiritual journey. I realized that prayer is not just words, but a mental state that helps connect people with God. Whenever I felt tired or confused, I turned back to prayers, the quiet thoughts that helped me overcome difficulties. My life was no longer a series of material worries, but a journey of understanding and connection. I was no longer afraid because I knew that God would always be by my side. I also realized that when we pray and live with humility, we not only change ourselves but also change the world around us. Day by day, I began to see that each challenge in life seemed to bring me an important lesson. Although I no longer felt lonely or afraid as before, I still sensed a yearning to seek something deeper within my soul. One day, while I was on my way to work, I met a tall woman, simply dressed, but her eyes radiated a profound understanding. I didn't know why, but I felt as if I had met her somewhere in another lifetime. She looked at me for a long time before speaking. "Sarah, you are searching for something very important, but you will not find it if you do not learn to let go." I stood in shock, unable to believe that she knew my name, feeling as if everything around me had come to a halt. I don't understand," I stammered in reply. She smiled, as if she understood my thoughts. "You always think that everything needs a reason, a plan. But in reality, life is just an endless flow. When you learn to relax, you will see the miracles unfold before you." I could not say anything more, as her words seemed to touch a place deep within my soul that I had never recognized. I stood there immersed in thought, but when I turned back, she had vanished. A strange feeling of loss engulfed my mind, but I understood that she had left me an important message. After that strange encounter, I began to notice that the signs of life do not always come clearly. Everything has its reason, but sometimes we must learn to recognize and accept them. Each passing day, I felt my connection with God growing stronger. One evening, while praying, I suddenly noticed a change in the space around me. I felt like I was in another place, a space without time, only absolute silence. A brilliant light shone down, and I felt a gentle hand comforting me. "Sarah," a voice echoed from the light. "Are you ready to face the greatest challenge of your life?" I looked up and saw a hazy figure standing before me, the light from that person's hand emanating like a silk veil. I felt no fear, only absolute peace. "God, I don't know if I have the strength to face any challenge, but I will not turn back. I have learned that strength comes from humility and faith in you." The light around me began to fade gradually, and I returned to the present. However, my deep feeling of connection with God remained, and I knew I was equipped to overcome any challenge. Every time I faced a challenge, I remembered my encounter with the woman and her words. Life may not always be easy, but I had learned to let go, to live in the moment, and not force myself to follow a rigid plan. I continued to pray and feel God's presence in each step of my journey. One day, I received an invitation to participate in a trip to a rural area in the southern United States, where a small community was seeking help to rebuild a church and improve their lives. Even though I felt peaceful and stable in my current life, I knew that this was an opportunity one could not miss. I decided to accept the invitation and set off. In this community, I not only participated in rebuilding the church, but also helped the locals overcome their difficulties in life. They were simple people with strong faith and always believed in God's help in every circumstance. From the stories they told, I learned that faith is not something distant but is a part of every person. It helps them rise every time they fall. When the construction work was completed, I realized that I had received more than I had given. The connection with God was not just an act of worship, but also a concrete action in daily life. And the people I met on this journey had become part of a spiritual family that I would never forget. Returning to Austin, I felt like I was no longer someone else, but rather a part of a chain of events and people who had helped me realize the strength within myself. I understood that the spiritual journey is not an easy path, but it is precisely the challenges that allow me to have a clearer understanding of myself. And I know that no matter what difficulties I face in life, I will always have unwavering faith because I know I am never alone. After the trip to the South, Sarah returned to Austin with a fresh sense of self. Everything seemed to make more sense, and in the quiet moments of life she often asked herself, can these lessons be applied to every aspect of my life? She was no longer someone seeking recognition from others, but had found peace within herself. One evening, while walking home after work, Sarah noticed a familiar scene. A group of people was gathering at the street corner, and one of them, an elderly man, was telling stories about the tough days when he had to battle fear and loneliness in life. Sarah couldn't help but stop to listen. His story was like a mirror reflecting the thoughts she had experienced before. Not everything in life can be controlled, he said. There are times you have to accept that you cannot change everything, but you can change how you respond to them. His words made Sarah think deeply. She recalled times when she felt she couldn't change her circumstances or the people around her. But now she realized that what mattered was not changing what happened outside, but changing her attitude towards them. But I don't know where to start, Sarah gently asked. The man smiled kindly. Start from within yourself. Only when you change your perspective can you begin to change the world around you. With the man's teachings, Sarah returned to her daily life, but this time she felt different. Every morning upon waking up, she took a few minutes to meditate and pray. She knew that if she wanted to continue this journey, she had to learn to trust more in God and in herself. Change does not come instantly, but Sarah began to feel stronger and more confident in facing challenges. Sarah's job at the hospital also changed. Previously, she simply worked to fulfill tasks, but now each time she helped a patient, she not only utilized her professional knowledge but also added empathy, something that only deep self-understanding and life lessons could bring. One day, while treating an elderly patient, Sarah realized that this was an opportunity for her to truly help others not only physically but also spiritually. She sat down beside the patient, chatting and listening to his stories. This was a way Sarah found connection with others, not just through her profession but also through her heart. Although Sarah's life had many positive changes, she sometimes still felt the shadows of the past return. The painful memories of her time facing loneliness and doubt still sometimes came back. One evening, while relaxing at home, Sarah received a call from her mother. "Sarah, do you want to come home to visit the family?" "I miss you," her mother said softly. Sarah hesitated for a moment. She knew that going home would open a door not only filled with memories, but also with emotions that had never been completely resolved. But she also understood that this could be an opportunity to confront the past and put an end to the lingering negative thoughts. The next morning, Sarah decided to set off for home, with a strange but hopeful feeling. When she arrived home, her mother greeted her with a warm embrace. The stories about the family and what had happened over time made Sarah feel closer to her loved ones. But the meeting with her mother also made her realize that she was no longer the little girl she used to be. She had changed, grown up, and was ready to face new challenges that life would bring. Returning to Austin, Sarah felt as though she had completed a cycle of growth. Life was no longer about shocks or challenges, but a series of opportunities to learn and evolve. She was no longer afraid to face difficulties. Instead, she held a strong belief in herself and in God. One day, while participating in a local volunteer program, Sarah encountered the strange woman she had met before on the streets of Austin. The woman stood there as if she had been waiting for Sarah, and this time she looked at Sarah with a gaze full of patience. "Are you ready to face the final challenge on your journey?" she asked, as if she already knew the answer. Sarah looked into her eyes, feeling the calmness and strength coming from within her. "I am ready," she replied. Sarah's journey continued, and no matter what challenges lay ahead, she knew she would never be alone. She had learned to change from within, to embrace and accept everything in life with serenity and gratitude. The stories, the people she had met, and the lessons she had gone through had led her to a great transformation. And along that path, Sarah knew that as long as she had faith, she would always find light, no matter how great the challenges might be. One Sunday morning, Sarah woke up with an unusual feeling. She looked out the window. The warm rays of sunlight were threading through the clouds, but the sky was still thick with dark clouds as if preparing for a heavy rain. A slight unease rose within her. Although her life had undergone many positive changes, sometimes the ghosts of the past came back, just like rain that could not be predicted. Just a few hours later, as Sarah was getting ready to leave for a volunteer meeting at the hospital, rain suddenly poured down. The raindrops fell heavily to the ground as if wanting to wash away the unhappy memories and feelings within her. She stepped outside, looked up at the sky, and told herself, "The rain has come, but there will be light after the rain." Sarah thought back to the days before, the time she had to struggle with loneliness, loss, and fear within her. She had once believed that those things would always chase her, but now those experiences had become part of her journey of growth. The challenges she had overcome made her stronger and more resilient than ever. Elena, 45 years old, with streaks of gray hair, still maintained the habit of jogging every morning. The familiar trail led through wildflower fields and lush green trees. But today something was off. A sharp pain like a dagger pierced her chest, spreading throughout her body. Elena collapsed, trying to breathe, but the air was stuck. "No, it can't be," Elena whispered, her trembling hand clutching her chest. She felt her heart racing erratically before it suddenly stopped. Darkness enveloped her, cold and endless. When Elena woke up, she found herself suspended in midair. Below, a crowd had gathered around her lifeless body. People in white coats rushed to do something. The sound of an ambulance siren echoed, shattering the silence. Elena looked down and saw her body lying motionless on the ground. She felt a staggering shock, a profound fear. Am I dead?" Elena panicked but felt no pain. Instead, a strange peace enveloped her, like a gentle breeze soothing all anxiety. Anya Sharma, a 52-year-old historian living in London, is known for her profound research on ancient civilizations. She is an independent, rational woman, somewhat skeptical of the supernatural. However, a sudden storm has completely changed her life. On a stormy night, Anya was working in her private library. A terrifying thunderclap echoed, and Anya felt a jolt of electricity run through her body. She fell to the floor, losing consciousness. When Anya woke up, She found herself floating in a pitch-black space. She felt no pain but had a gentle sensation, as if she were drifting in midair. Suddenly, a soft light appeared, illuminating the space. The light was not glaring but warm and gentle, like the light of a full moon. A figure emerged in that light. It was a woman dressed in a white robe, with a kind face and bright eyes. Anya felt a strange sense of peace looking into those eyes. "Welcome, Anya," the woman said, her voice gentle like the chime of bells. "I am Sophia, the guardian of knowledge." Anya felt confused. Where am I?" "You are in between two worlds," Sophia replied. "You have been chosen to see the secrets that the world has never known." Sophia led Anya to a vast space where a giant silk sheet was floating. The sheet was brightly colored, constantly changing, and emitted harmonious sounds. "This is the silk of knowledge," Sophia said. "It contains all of humanity's history and secrets." Sophia touched the silk and images began to appear. Anya saw scenes from the past, ancient civilizations, wars, and great inventions. "Anya," Sophia said, "you are a historian. You understand that history is not just events recorded. It is also forgotten stories, hidden secrets." Sophia showed Anya images of an ancient civilization in Africa, a civilization that had advanced significantly in science, art, and philosophy. They built magnificent cities, invented advanced technologies, and had profound understandings of the universe. "This is the civilization of the Guardians," Sophia said. "They were chosen to preserve the knowledge of humanity." Anya was amazed. "Why have I never heard of them?" "Because history has been rewritten," Sophia replied. "Those in power have tried to conceal the truth about the Guardians, for they fear that their knowledge would change the world." Sophia showed Anya images of wars, oppression, and injustice. She saw black people being enslaved, stripped of their human rights, and treated cruelly. "Anya," Sophia said, "what you are seeing is the result of lies and injustice. Those in power have used differences in skin color to divide and dominate." Sophia showed Anya images of black people standing up for freedom and justice. She saw leaders, activists, artists, scientists, individuals who dedicated their lives to changing the world. "These individuals are the descendants of the Guardians," Sophia said. "They carry the knowledge and strength of their ancestors." Anya felt a deep sense of anger and admiration. She realized that history had been distorted, and black people had been stripped of their rights and dignity. Sophia showed Anya images of the future. She saw a world facing significant challenges: climate change, inequality, conflict. "Anya," Sophia said, "you are a historian. You have the responsibility to bring the truth to the world. You must help people understand that we are one family, and we must work together to build a better future." Sophia gave Anya a small piece of silk, a part of the silk of knowledge. "Keep this piece safe, Anya. It will help you remember what you have seen." Anya felt herself being pulled back to the real world. She opened her eyes and found herself lying on the floor, surrounded by shards of broken glass from the window. Anya returned to her daily life, but she was no longer the skeptical woman she once was. She carried a new mission: to share the truth about the Guardians and the role of black people in history. She began writing books, organizing workshops, and participating in social activities. She shared her story with anyone willing to listen. Many believed her, many were skeptical. But Anya did not care. She knew that the truth would triumph. Anya used a small piece of silk to further explore the secrets of the Guardians. She found maps, handwritten manuscripts, ancient relics, and evidence of their existence. She discovered that the Guardians had built enormous libraries, schools, and research centers where they preserved and developed knowledge. They had studied astronomy, mathematics, medicine, philosophy, and many other fields. She also learned about the significant contributions made by black people to humanity. She saw scientists, inventors, writers, poets, activists, individuals who had changed the world. Anya used the knowledge and evidence she found to write a book that would shake the world. Her book revealed the truth about the Guardians, about the role of black people in history, and about the lies and injustices that had been concealed for centuries. Anya's book became a phenomenon. It sparked intense debates but also brought hope and change. Thanks to Anya's efforts, the world began to change. People started to rethink history and realize that the truth was not always as they had been taught. Black people began to take pride in their origins and heritage. They recognized that they were descendants of the Guardians and had the responsibility to continue their ancestors' mission. The world became fairer and more equal. People began to respect differences and work together to build a better future. One day, Anya felt a strong urge. She knew it was time to return to the silk of knowledge. She went to a quiet place and touched the small piece of silk. She felt herself being drawn into a space of brilliant light. She met Sophia, the guardian of knowledge. "You have completed your mission, Anya," Sophia said. "You have brought the truth to the world." Sophia showed Anya images of a changing world, of Black people taking pride in their heritage, and of a bright future. When Anya entered the space of the silk banner, she not only reunited with Sophia but also met other souls, those who had once lived on Earth and contributed to the development of humanity. She encountered scientists, philosophers, artists, leaders, individuals who had once been part of the civilization of the Guardians. They told Anya about their lives, their discoveries, the difficulties and challenges they had faced. They shared deep insights about the universe, about humanity, and about the purpose of life. One of the most impressive encounters for Anya was with a Black woman named Nefertari. Nefertari was a brilliant astronomer who had uncovered the secrets of the universe. She told Anya about her observations of planets, stars, and galaxies. She also shared her understanding of time and space. "Anya," Nefertari said, "the universe is an endless mystery. We have only uncovered a tiny part of it. But what is important is that we never stop searching." Anya realized that knowledge is not just information, but also power. Knowledge can change the world. It can free people from ignorance and oppression. She also recognized that knowledge does not belong to anyone. It is a common asset of humanity, and everyone has the right to access knowledge. "Knowledge is light," Sophia said. "It dispels the darkness of ignorance and fear. It helps people see the truth and find freedom." Sophia showed Anya images of people using knowledge to solve the world's problems. She saw scientists developing new technologies to protect the environment, medical professionals finding ways to cure serious diseases, and educators helping children realize their potential. Anya understood that humanity is a family, and everyone is connected. She saw images of people from different tribes living in harmony and working together. She saw Black people, white people, yellow people, and red people all working together to build a better world. "Anya," Sophia said, "the differences in skin color are not a barrier but a gift. They enrich and diversify our world." Sophia showed Anya images of people respecting and valuing each other's differences. She witnessed people learning from each other and sharing their experiences and insights. After experiencing these profound encounters and experiences, Anya felt transformed. She was no longer the skeptical woman she once was. She had found faith in the power of knowledge, in the unity of humanity, and in a bright future. Sophia gave Anya a small piece of silk, a part of the silk of knowledge. "Keep this piece of silk safe, Anya," Sophia said. "It will help you remember what you have seen, and it will remind you of your mission." Anya felt herself being pulled back to the real world. She opened her eyes and found herself lying on her bed, surrounded by books and notes. Anya continued her journey, sharing the truth about the Guardians and the role of Black people in history. She used the knowledge and evidence she had found to write more books, organize more workshops, and participate in more social activities. She also helped Black people learn about their origins and heritage. She established an organization to support Black individuals in education, research, and career development. Anya became a leader, an inspiration bringing hope to the world. She lived a meaningful life, knowing that she was contributing to building a better future for humanity. Anya understood that her journey was not over. She knew that there were still many secrets of the silk of knowledge yet to be explored and many challenges humanity must face. But she also knew that knowledge and unity would help us overcome all difficulties. She believed that one day, everyone would recognize that we are one family, and we would work together to build a world of peace, fairness, and prosperity. Anya's story is one of truth, knowledge, unity, and hope. It reminds us that we have the power to change the world, and we have a responsibility to use that power to build a better future for all. When Anya spent more time in the space of the silk, she began to realize that the journey of exploration was not just about history and the outside world, but also about self-discovery. She recognized that her doubts and rationality had once been a wall separating her from profound spiritual experiences. The silk showed Anya images of her life, about the decisions and choices she had made. She realized that her fears and prejudices had influenced the way she perceived the world and the people around her. Anya, Sophia said, knowledge is not just about knowing but also about understanding. Understanding the world, understanding others, and understanding oneself. Anya realized that she had once judged others based on prejudices and assumptions. She had viewed the world through the lens of skepticism and rationality, and she had missed the beauty and profound truths. The silk took Anya to vast spaces of the universe. She saw stars, planets, galaxies, and miraculous phenomena. She felt a deep connection with the universe, a sense that she was part of something greater than herself. She realized that humans are not just living beings on Earth, but also elements of the universe. She recognized that we have a close connection with everything in the universe, and we have a responsibility to protect and maintain the balance of the universe. Anya, Sophia said, the universe is a network of connections. Everything is interconnected, and we all have a responsibility to contribute to the harmony of the universe. The silk showed Anya images of conflicts and the pain that humans have caused each other. She realized that hatred and resentment only bring suffering and destruction. She also recognized that love and forgiveness are the greatest powers. They can heal wounds, break down barriers, and bring peace and harmony. Anya, Sophia said, love is the energy of the universe, can transform everything, and forgiveness is the key to freeing us from the burdens of the past. Anya realized that she had held on to resentments and grudges in her heart. She decided to forgive those who had hurt her, and she also apologized to those she had hurt. Anya returned to the real world with a changed soul. She was no longer the skeptical and rational woman she once was. She had found faith in love, in forgiveness, and in the power of humanity. She continued her journey, sharing her insights and experiences with the world. She wrote more books, organized more workshops, and participated in more social activities. She also spent more time with her family and friends. She cherished her relationships, and she tried to spread love and warmth to those around her. Anya knew that her legacy was not just her books and lectures, but also the change in the hearts of those she had met. She knew that the seeds of truth, love, and forgiveness she had sown would continue to germinate and grow. She also knew that the silk of knowledge would continue to exist, and it would continue to reveal the secrets of the universe to those who were worthy. She believed that one day, everyone would realize that we are one family, and together we will build a better world. Anya's story is a tale of awakening, transformation, and hope. It reminds us that we have the power to change ourselves, to change the world, and to create a brighter future for all. As time passed, Anya became a symbol of truth and hope. She was not only a historian but also a teacher, a friend, and an inspiration to millions around the world. She established an academy where young people could learn about history, knowledge, and human values. She invited scientists, philosophers, artists, and activists to share their knowledge and experiences. She also created a network connecting Black people around the world, helping them understand their roots and heritage, and supporting them in developing their potential. Anya realized that she could not change the world alone. She needed the help of others, especially young people, those who would continue her journey. Even as old age approached, Anya continued to explore the secrets of the knowledge silk. She discovered new information about ancient civilizations, great inventions, and profound insights into the universe. She found that the guardians were not only Black people but also individuals from different lineages. They worked together to preserve and promote humanity's knowledge. She also uncovered information about those who tried to hide the truth about the guardians. She understood that those in power had used lies and injustice to divide and dominate. Anya understood that her legacy was not just knowledge and information, but also spiritual values. She inspired millions to believe in the power of knowledge, in human solidarity, and in a bright future. She taught everyone that the truth would prevail, that love and forgiveness are the greatest strengths, and that we have a responsibility to protect and maintain the balance of the universe. Anya also taught everyone that we are one family, and that we must work together to build a peaceful, just, and prosperous world. One evening, while gazing at the twinkling stars, Anya felt a strange peace. She knew it was time to return to the knowledge silk. She called her loved ones to her side, bidding farewell. She smiled, knowing she would soon reunite with Sophia and her soul friends. As Anya closed her eyes, she felt herself floating in a brilliant space of light. She experienced overwhelming joy, knowing she had come home. The knowledge silk continued to exist, revealing the secrets of the universe to those worthy of them. Anya became a part of the silk, a part of eternal knowledge. Anya's legacy continued to live on, inspiring future generations. Young people continued to learn about history, knowledge, and human values. They continued the journey of exploration, building a better world. Anya's story is a story of truth, knowledge, unity, and hope. It reminds us that we have the power to change the world, and that we have the responsibility to use that power to build a brighter future for everyone. The academy established by Anya was not just a place for learning, but also a cultural center where people from all over the world came to share and learn. Discussions about history, knowledge, and human values took place daily, breaking down cultural and linguistic barriers. Anya realized that the knowledge silk was not just for a specific group or nation. It is a shared treasure of humanity's knowledge, helping us better understand each other, our past, and the future we can build together. She organized trips around the world, carrying small pieces of silk, parts of the knowledge silk, to share with distant communities. She listened to their stories, learned from their traditions and insights, and helped them connect with humanity's shared legacy. Thanks to Anya's efforts, the forgotten voices began to be heard. The stories of Black people who contributed to the development of humanity, of women who fought for equal rights, and of indigenous people who protected the environment, were all told and celebrated. Museums, schools, and libraries around the world began to update history, incorporating information about the guardians and the contributions of Black people. Films, books, and songs were created to tell these stories, bringing pride and justice to those who had been deprived of their rights. Anya realized that knowledge and spirit are inseparable. Knowledge without spirit becomes empty and dangerous. Spirit without knowledge becomes blind and easily exploited. She encouraged people not only to learn about science and history, but also to explore philosophy, art, and human values. She urged everyone to not only develop intellect but also to nurture the soul. She believed that when knowledge and spirit are united, humanity can achieve true wisdom and peace. Anya knew that her body would age and fade, but the ideas and values she had conveyed would live on. She had sown the seeds of truth, love, and justice, and those seeds would continue to sprout and grow in the hearts of others. She also knew that the knowledge tapestry would endure, and it would continue to reveal the secrets of the universe to those who deserve it. Young people would continue to explore, learn, and build a better world. On a full moon night, Anya felt an absolute peace. She knew that she had fulfilled her mission. She had brought truth to the world, inspired millions, and contributed to building a brighter future. She closed her eyes, and she saw herself floating in a brilliant light. She smiled, knowing that she had returned home. The knowledge tapestry continued to shine, carrying the stories and insights of Anya. Her legacy lived on in the hearts of those she had touched, and in the changes she had brought to the world. Anya's story is one of truth, knowledge, unity, and hope. It reminds us that we have the power to change the world, and we have the responsibility to use that power to build a better future for all.